All right, and here we go. So we just need maybe a couple of blocks. I don't even know if we need those. And we'll start lying down, Supta Baddha Konasana, flat on the floor, soles of the feet together. So when we lie flat, without doing the block under the shoulders here, it puts a little bit more opening in the hip joints, or maybe you could look at it as just a little different kind. It's a little different when we're on the block. We end up with our pelvis tilted up. And here we are trying to flatten out the pelvis so it's more like the shape we use for things like the tree pose. Anyway, all right, here we are getting settled in. I'm trying to level that pelvis, balancing evenly on the right and left sides. Inhaling up into the lower belly, exhale, letting go a little more, settling in a little bit more. Maybe a little gentle pulling up in the abdominal muscles, feeling that belly heavy to the lower back toward the floor. So we don't, in fact, let that pelvis tilt down and forward. And in general, engaging a little more actively with the shape, pressing the feet together, a little feeling of pulling out through the knees. And then let's stretch the arms up overhead. You can use the interlocked fingers there or not. We line from the base of the wrist to the sitting bones, a little bit more active, long and flat along the floor. And slowly sliding the legs out to straight. Big stretch from the hands to the toes. And then we will make our way up to sitting. And sitting in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. Using those arms alongside, lengthening up, whatever shifting and swinging you want to do. And releasing with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders, long through the tailbone out the top of the head. And bringing your attention even more inside yourself. Feeling your breath, smoothing things out, slowing them down. And then reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. Let's do that 3 more times. Really feeling the shoulder blades connecting into the back, into the core. And then changing the cross of the legs. And we will come forward and over. Breathing into the back of the body. Feeling now that back of the sacrum that we were just lying on and making heavy into the floor. Now letting that expand and breathe. And coming up, unfurling that spine back up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale. And then let's come up in downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, walking the dog or anything else you want to do. And then finishing with whatever you're doing, finding the best downward facing dog of this moment. Nothing moving but the breath. And coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And coming forward into the Sphinx. Reaching all the way out through the wrists and fingertips. Pulling the sides back, center line forward. And working the back muscles so you're not just propped up on your arms. And then lifting the elbows, and if you need more space, walking the hands a little forward or wider. Trying to find a place you can do a straight armed cobra, even if you have to move your hands way forward or make them a little wider than the shoulders. Breathing here, pulling up and back with the back muscles, pulling the weight away from the arms. And then coming down, hands out to the side across from the shoulders on the pads of the fingers, giant bug cobra. Pulling the elbows out and up as we drop the chin and rippling up. Pull the elbows wide and lengthening down. 3 of those. Rolling up, wide and long down. And make sure you're working the back muscles, not just pushing yourself up and down with the arms. And then pulling that into the cobra position, the small cobra. Really squeeze the elbows in and pull them back, setting the hands down, coming up with whatever small cobra there is there. And lengthening down, and we will make our way back up to downward facing dog. With the usual little cat and cow rippling along the leg. And then, if you would like, through the vinyasa. And let's lift the right leg up, reaching long through the heel. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And can you find anything here that feels like when we were lying on the floor with the wide, flat back of the sacrum, the inner thighs through the inner knees reaching away, and through to the lunge. And we'll twist to the right, toward the front. And a big reach around with the right arm, left knee down, and Jayasana. And then circling those arms around. And Namaste in front. And then we're going to step back onto the right knee and swivel up into Parigasana gate pose. So I'm standing on my right knee now with the shin going straight back. Left heel is just a little in front of the line of the right knee with the knee on top of the left foot to the floor, ceiling. Standing up on top of the right leg. So the left leg's like a triangle front leg. And then side bending over to the left. And then coming up. And we'll turn that left leg to parallel. outer edge of the foot facing the ceiling. Toes are now forward as we come over to the right and into a side bend there, kind of like a kneeling side plank. We're going to try to side bend it, pushing up into the right side, into the left side. And a big reach around with the left arm. We turn to all fours and we'll expand up into downward facing dog. Taking a breath there. Through the vinyasa. And then we will do that on the left side. Lifting the left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high flyer bite. See if you can feel anything like that Supta Baddha Konasana. The back of the pelvis is wide and flat. We're extending long out the inner thighs, out the knees. The answer can be no, I don't feel anything like that. Coming through to the lunge. And twisting to the left. And then bringing that right knee down and Jayasana kneeling lunge. And circling the arms all the way around and back up overhead. And Namaste in front. And then we will pass off to our left leg, extending the right leg, swiveling on the left knee, coming up in Parigasana on the left or the other side. Just in case somehow it ended up on the right side. We are standing on the left on the first side. Anyway, here we are. Triangle pose sort of leg, right up on top of that left hip, reaching out wide. Side bending to the right. And coming up. And then turning that right leg to parallel. Coming over to the left. And side bending over, but not just by going down, but also going up, pressing that left side up into the right. And a big reach around with that right arm onto all fours to expand up into downward facing dog. Through the vinyasa. And looking between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. And then releasing the hands. Let's circle the shoulders, interlock the fingers behind. Squeezing those upper arms toward each other. And lifting the chest to lift the chin. Lifting the back of the body up into the front. And coming over. Releasing the hands. And let's step back with the left leg. And coming up in either the high lunge or the warrior one. I think I'm going to do the warrior one today, but you could do the high lunge if you would rather. And then we reach back with the right arm, finding the back of the left leg and swirling around. We'll scoop down and forward with the tailbone, so there's kind of a swirling around going through the whole body, not just the arms. And then windmilling down to step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. And stepping back with the right leg. And coming up in either the high lunge or the warrior number one. And then left arm goes to the back of the right leg somewhere. We'll lift up and over on the right side of the body. Scoop down and under through the tailbone and pelvis, swirling around. And windmilling down to step forward. Into the concave back, folding over. Jumping or stepping back, vinyasa, downward facing dog. And let's lift the right leg up. Dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. And turning to the elephant rider. And then we'll come around to the temple pose, rotating those legs into the hip joints as we come up, two triangle legs. And then pulling down the center line. And reversing that, coming up the center, straightening the legs. And bending the knees, big reach wide with the arms back to Namaste in front. And coming forward, keeping the outer rotation as we straighten the legs. Wide leg forward bend with outer rotation. And then turning to the right lunge, back where we came from, and we'll step to the side plank on the left. So we pivot onto the outer left foot, step back with the right. You can put the right foot on the floor in front, or maybe stack the legs, side plank, or kneeling side plank. And then we're going to press the left side up into the right. Maybe take that right arm over the ear, making it a side bend. But try not to do it by collapsing your right side down, but by pushing your left side up. Big reach around with the right arm, and then we'll step forward with the right leg. And coming up in the warrior number 2. Making sure the knee is tracking over the foot. And then let's pull into the triangle, reaching with that right arm as we pull the right leg back and tilting up. And making that left hand into a gentle fist, circling the wrist. 4, 3, 2, 1. Up. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And unfurl your hand. One more breath here. And then stepping forward into the concave, back halfway up, folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. All right, as we did on Monday, dancing Krishna. All right, so I'm going to stand here, and I'll be the mirror. And here we are. You could be standing in front of your mat. We're going to be taking it into the tree pose. So if you think you might want support for the tree pose, getting near a wall or something. And then we take our right leg, we rotate it out, ball of the foot goes on the floor, and the heel goes onto the left ankle. And I'm being a good bad example, sitting out in my left hip now, pulling up on top of that left hip. And then reaching the arms out wide to the side, and we'll side bend over to the right, curving the arms, maybe finishing that curving around with the Jian Mudra, tip of the thumb and index finger together. And a big reach wide, coming back up, hands to Namaste, bringing that right leg up into the tree pose. You can just pull the leg up and or get hold of the ankle with the hand. So if you do pull it up with the hand though, see if you can still have a feeling like you're pulling up from underneath, like you're sliding the foot a little bit up the leg instead of just kind of sticking it on your thigh. And Vrikshasana, the tree pose. And bringing that right leg down. Inhale and exhale. Samasthiti, steadiness. And then here we are at the front of our mat. And coming over. Oh wait, let's do the interlocked fingers again. Roll the shoulders, interlock the fingers, lifting the chest to lift the chin. And coming over. And releasing the hands. Concave back, folding over, and making our way back to downward facing dog. Through the vinyasa or knots. And we'll go around on the left, lifting the left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge, turning to the elephant rider. And then coming up to the three-pointed star. And pulling wide, even while they're still lifting through the top of the head as you bring the hands to Namaste in front, the temple pose. And straightening back up that center line. And a big reach around, bending the knees again, coming back to the temple pose. And then coming forward into the forward bend, keeping the outer rotated legs. And then we'll turn back to the left lunge, front of the mat, to go to side plank on the right, onto the outer right foot, stepping back with the left foot, maybe on the floor or stacked. And then side bending, pressing up from the right side into the left. Maybe the left arm curves over the ear. Or just holding as long as you can. I think we held this kind of long. And a big reach around with the left arm. We turn to the front. We step forward with the left leg. And we come up in the warrior number 2. Making sure all our body parts arrive. And then we'll stretch into the triangle. Reach with that left hand. Pull the left leg back. And tilting over. Nice long parallel sides on the torso, like a side plank again. And then making that right hand into a fist, circle that wrist. 4, nice and slowly. 3. And then other way. Unfurl the hand, deep breath in your triangle. And then coming down to step forward. Into the concave, back halfway up. Folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. All right, dancing Krishna on the left. And so left leg rotates out, hold the foot on the floor, heel against the right ankle, standing up onto that right hip. So sinking into the right hip, which is what I'm doing here if you can see it, is different than leaning in when we're in the side bend. All right, holding those two hip bones level as opposed to having the right hip bone, left hip bone drop down. If we're actually Indian classical dance, a lot of those forms do use that dropped, sticking out hip, just so you know. But this is the yogified version. Standing right up on top of that left right hip, reaching the arms out to the side, side bending up and over to the left. Dancing Krishna, maybe with the Jiyan mudra, tip of the thumb and index finger together. And coming back up, hands to Namaste, and taking that left leg up to tree pose. If you want to pull it up higher with the hand, go ahead, but still try to feel that pulling the leg upness. And then bring that left leg down. Some steadiness. So we're going to repeat our dancing Krishna right and left. But first, let's just take a forward bend. So make sure you have space wherever you are for your forward bend. Big lift up. And diving over. Couple deep breaths here. And concave back halfway up. Folding over. And coming back up to standing. And around to Namaste in front. All right, let's dancing Krishna again. And so right leg rotates out. So if you are a person with really good balance, maybe you could do the dancing Krishna with the leg up in the tree pose. Just something to think about. All right, here we are, reaching the arms out wide to the side, up and over, side bending to the right, curving one arm over, one arm under, maybe the Jian Mudra. And a big lift up. And then taking that right leg up into the tree pose, Vrikshasana. And you can use the hand to pull it up higher if you want. And bringing the right leg down. Deep breath. And then the left side. Rotating the left leg out, standing right up on top of that right leg. Reaching wide, up and over to the left. Into the Jian Mudra maybe. And coming back up and into the tree pose, Vrikshasana. And bring that left leg down. Inhale and exhale, some steadiness. And here we are in steadiness at the top of our mat. And the big front body yawn up. And coming over. Concave back, halfway up, folding over. Vinyasa, downward facing dog. Three deep breaths here and downward facing dog. Bringing all your attention to this downward facing dog of this moment. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And sliding forward to the Sphinx. Pulling back, lengthening forward. There's also reaching back through the legs. And so the legs are here along the floor, but still make them extend. The knees might lift a little off the floor. And then we'll lift the elbows, adjusting the hands as needed. Reaching strongly through the legs as well, like you were trying to lift the legs off the floor. But not trying that so hard that you're clenching and gripping and sweating. And coming down out to the giant bug cobra. And we'll ripple up, doing your best to feel ripple through the upper back. Reaching the elbows wide, reaching forward. And rolling up. And reaching out twice more. And then pulling the hands into the small cobra position. And lengthening up here. And then reaching through the legs, and here we will literally lift the legs. And then maybe the hands as well. Coming down. And coming up onto all fours. And we'll do a few cats and cows. And a pull back into child's pose. Nope, and let's do Namaste and Drasana. So I'll be the mirror here as I face you. And we'll bring that left leg down, right foot crosses over. Reaching that right sitting bone for the floor, reaching the right foot for the floor. Might not get there, but it's trying. And let's twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and twist. And back to the center. Twisting to the left, the open side. And then walking the hands out any amount, negotiating there with that left or that right sitting bone. A lot of resistance, not so much resistance, whatever feels good to you. And coming up, let's disentangle the legs, sliding them out straight in front in Dandasana, coming forward, maybe pushing from behind. Inhaling and exhaling, evening out the two sides. And coming up, and we'll go to the other side. So the right leg bends and goes on the floor, left leg cross. Take a few breaths getting settled in here. And then we will twist to the left. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and twist. And back to the front, twisting to the left. The right, sorry, right. Not doing so good with being the mirror today. And then walking the hands out, negotiating with your left sitting bone, a lot of resistance, not so much resistance, finding a good spot. Sometimes the good spot is what I was doing back and forth. And coming back up, disentangling the legs. So as we go into our forward bend, getting up kind of near the front of the mat, so we'll be able to roll right down into Shavasana. And rolling down to the floor and into Shavasana. So if you want just a little bit more back bending, front of the hip opening stuff, maybe doing the block probably on the lower height under the sacrum if you would like. Lying flat is also a opener for the front of the hips though. All right, so you don't want to put anything there underneath at such a height that you feel like you can't really relax and let go and sink into the floor. Inhale and exhale. There's the back of our pelvis wide and flat and heavy into the floor again. And then breathing back into your body, moving the fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists and ankles, bending knees. We got a block there, taking that out if it's still there. Gently making your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking a few more moments sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.